Welcome, this is Thomas. I'm back with another video. This here video is going to show you how to fill out the form 8867, which is the due diligence checklist, which is a form that you'll have to fill out majority of the time for people who have dependents that's on their tax return. And so I use Form Finder a lot. So I go here and I type in that form number. And then from there, I choose the form. So in putting in 8867, for some reason, the form is not popping up based on the form number. So what I'll do is, if the form won't come up by number, another aspect is simply going to the section that will show you how to get there. So earned income credit is how you get to that. So due diligence checklist is just how we fill it out. Was the taxpayer or spouse a non-resident alien for any part of the year? No. And all the training we're going to do is going to be based on dealing with U.S. citizens only, unless otherwise mentioned. So it's going to be no for the first one. Is the taxpayer or a spouse a qualifying child of another? That's no. Do you complete the tax return based on information from the tax year 2022 provided by the taxpayer or reasonably obtained by you? That's yes. Must always be yes. Did you interview the taxpayer, ask adequate questions, and document the taxpayer's response to determine that the taxpayer is eligible to claim the credit and head of household filing status? That must be yes. So when it comes to doing what we do, we want to document, and so you'll learn how to do that as well. Did you review adequate information to determine that the taxpayer is eligible to claim the credit and or head of household filing status, and in what amount? Yes. Did any information provided by the taxpayer, a third party, or reasonably known to you in connection with preparing the return appear to be incorrect, incomplete, or inconsistent? If you have to say yes to this, you don't need to be doing the tax return whatsoever. So it should be no. Because if this question here you can answer yes to, then you want to ask yourself, do you really want to be bothered with that client? So we say yes. So we say no to this. Did you satisfy the record retention requirements? To meet the record retention requirements, did you keep a copy of the documents provided by the taxpayer that you relied on to determine eligibility or to compute the amount of the credits? You say yes to that, and then we put in here what documents that we collected in this box. Next, it says, did you ask the taxpayer whether he or she could provide documentation to substantiate eligibility for and the amount of the credit and head of household filing status on the return? Say yes. Did you ask the taxpayer if any credits were disallowed or reduced in prior years? When you ask this question, you can't ask them like this because they don't really know what this extension stands for. So you got to ask them like this. You got to ask them in any current or prior year, did you get a letter asking for additional information? If they say yes to that, then it's yes to this. It's yes to this question. Did you ask this question? And then it says, well, any of these credits disallowed or reduced in any previous year. And so when you ask the question, did any current or previous year, did they receive a letter for any additional information? If they say no to that, then we put no right here. If they say yes to that, you put yes right here. Then the qualifying child, the name, it says, is this child currently or intended to be a qualifying child on any other individual tax return? That's going to be no. It says, have you determined that this taxpayer is in fact eligible to claim the EIC for the number of children for whom the EIC is claimed? That's yes. Did you explain to the taxpayer that he or she may not claim the EIC if the taxpayer has not lived with the child for over half the year, even if the taxpayer has supported the child? Yes, we explained that. Did you explain to the taxpayer the rules about claiming the EIC when the child is the qualifying child of more than one person? tiebreaker rule. Yes. And these are tiebreaker rules. You read that on your own timing. You get a better understanding of what that means. Child tax credit question. Does the child reside with the taxpayer who is claiming the child tax credit or additional child tax credit? Yes. Did you explain to the taxpayer that he or she may not claim the child tax credit or additional child tax credit if the taxpayer has not lived with the child for over half the year, even if the taxpayer has supported the child, unless the child custodial parent has released a claim of exemption for the child? Yes. So did you explain to the taxpayer the rules about claiming the child tax credit, additional child tax credit, or other dependent credit for a child of divorced or separated parents who live apart, including any requirements to attach Form 8332 or similar statements to the return? Yes. Did you certify that all the answers on this Form 8867 are, to the best of our knowledge, true, correct, and complete? Yes. And then we hit continue. And so this is how it should look based on you filling the forms out. It says documents you relied on was answered. Due diligence EIC entered. EIC due diligence notes. So they want you to put some notes in there. Answered notes. Due diligence child tax credit answered. This here doesn't apply. This is for American Opportunity. That's for people who got college students on the tax return. And then credit eligibility certification certified. Boom. So that's how it should look based on this particular practice problem. So we hit continue. This here's a miscellaneous statement that we can use if we feel the need, but I haven't used it yet. Continue. And so we at the end of the program. And like I said, this information will be your company name, your EFIN number. Then you select here how the client wants to process their refund. This is the bank that I'm using, check, direct deposit, or card. But like I said, I only give them two options, direct deposit or card. I don't do checks. And so if they're paying you out of pocket, they're going to either e-file direct deposit, that's the fastest way and safest way, or e-file a check, which means the IRS is going to send me a check in the mail. And who wants to get any significant amount of money in the mail with a check is not recommended. And then from there, state refund, if you got one, you make the selection. And then email address, we want to collect the email address for all clients. Then we continue. This is the price that calculated based on how I set up the tax return already inside the system for me. This here optional, as far as I'm concerned. This here lets you know that you got to get paid because this is not a bank product before you process it. And so that's how we do a basic practice problem. I just showed you how to fill out the 8867 due diligence checklist in this case, and I took you through the end of the program showing you how to fill that out as far as how the client is going to get a refund. So I'm going to do more videos showing you how to fill out certain forms and schedules inside this particular software. Hopefully you'll be using this software going forward, but you'll have to decide that and let me know. Thank you. I'll see you in my next training video.